Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the press conference of Alex de Minaur. First of all, congrats, Alex. Very solid performance today. How does it feel to get the first round win under your belt?
Yeah, it feels great to get started here at the Australian Open. Happy with the performance. It's never easy first match coming in, and it was a tricky opponent, and I navigated my way through and did what I needed to do. So, yeah, overall happy with the performance and ready for the next challenge.
Okay, questions, Mark? Yeah.
Alex, congratulations. You spoke on court about how it's always nervy starting an Australian Open. Can you talk to me about that? Like, do you go through fears, doubts? What's sort of going through your mind about first round matches?
Yeah, look, I mean, the thing about the slams, the Australian Open in particular, is I feel like even the draw, it comes out a lot earlier than other tournaments, and then in any other tournament that's not a Grand Slam, right? You got about your business. The draw comes out. Oh, you got to play whoever you got to play, and that's it, right? In a Grand Slam, the draw comes out, and then you've got a couple days worth of media talking about the full on draw, right? And for someone like myself that doesn't look at the draw and doesn't like knowing the draw, these are the things you kind of have to navigate and get used to, right? It's over the years I've gotten used to it. I know how to handle it, but still it just adds extra elements to the start of a tournament. Also saying that I just needed to kind of recenter myself a little bit and remind myself of all the things I've been doing right and how well I've been hitting the ball, how confident I am on the court. And once you kind of get started, those juices are flowing, then it's all happy days from there.
I think Wally Mercer let slip, didn't he? And you rolled it all out, what your whole projected draw is.
Yeah, when he asked me if I knew my draw, I only knew the first round, right? I didn't know the rest of the draw, but I definitely knew after that.
Alex, how are conditions out there? You mentioned on court, a bit hot, got a bit more oomph on your serve. How did the serve feel today?
Yeah, I mean, it's ultimately in Melbourne, if you have a hot day and you're playing during the day, it is very quick conditions, right? The ball flies through the air. It's very, very lively. And it's, yeah, everyone's always said it is two different tournaments, whether you play during the day or during the night. The conditions vary very much and it becomes different playing styles. Obviously, it is a lot harder to hit a winner at night time. It's heavier conditions. The ball is a little bit slower. But, today it felt great. It was a weird match because there wasn't really a lot of rhythm. I thought Mackey's game plan was exactly that, to kind of play very aggressive and not really want to get into too many rallies. So saying that, I had to kind of find my rhythm a little bit on serve and maybe take a little bit of pace off just to try and make a bit more first serves because he was having a crack at my second serve. But yeah, overall happy and we move on.
Alex, can you tell us a bit more on court? You mentioned just trying to enjoy the journey that you're on, and I guess you're talking about your life journey kind of thing. But tell us a bit, like, have you always, like, previously been a bit too caught up in the wins and losses and maybe not appreciating the lifestyle and all that kind of thing? Is that what you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've always said that I think one of the biggest reasons that I've achieved everything that I have achieved is how tough I am on myself, right? And I've constantly been pushing myself for more and to achieve kind of that next milestone and next moment. What happens with that as well is that throughout the journey, I don't really reward myself too much or too often, and you go through the whole process and you kind of forget where you came from and how how pumped that little kid who 7, 8 years old and dreaming of getting into the top 10 would be with the position that I am right now. So over the years, I've tried to do my best to take a step back every now and again, give myself a pat on the back and enjoy the moment. Obviously, that's in terms of kind of my tennis career, but as soon as I'm off the court, there's a big focus of just enjoying my life off the court. You know, I've got an incredible fiance who, you know, I'm very excited to be married to at the end of this year. I've got an amazing support system around me, my team, family, friends. So it's about doing my best to enjoy more time with them.
Alex, do you expect players, including yourself, to ramp up pressure on Tennis Australia if demands around more prize money aren't met?
Look, there's obviously a lot of these discussions. It all ultimately comes down to perspective, right? It's not about headlines. It's not about, you know, we're demanding more and that we're being greedy, right? That's some of the things that potentially the media graphs on, and that's their headlines. But it's all about perspective, and what we're fighting for is to better our sport and ultimately for the players to be better compensated. Saying this, we are incredibly well compensated as of right now. But when you look at the percentages and the differences between other sports, then of course there's room to grow. And I think that's what we're trying to get to ultimately, to a point where we're all helping each other grow this beautiful sport. And we've seen it grow over the years immensely. And ultimately, I think it's going to be for the best for both the players and the tours and everyone in this sport if we all sit down in a room and we kind of find ways to keep on improving and we keep the communication going. That's basically all.
I suppose if you
Sophie.
could... Sorry.
Sorry. Hey, Alex. When you're playing in hot and blustery conditions like today, how important, if at all, is nutrition to your importance? Like, is food fuel, or do you eat and drink what you want at a Grand Slam?
No, it's extremely important. It's when we're talking about such physical conditions and hot conditions, it is essential, right? In terms of nutrition, hydration, I started already on electrolytes last night. Midway through the afternoon, I was drinking as much as I could. I made sure I had a good dinner last night. This morning was all over. Good breakfast. Made sure I had some plain pasta before I went on. And as the match goes on, I've got bananas, bars, snacks as the match goes on. Ultimately, the biggest thing is to not have a drop in energy, and you need your body to be going on for 3, 4, even 5 hours, right? So you got to be ready. So hydration and nutrition is key, especially in 5-set matches here.
Okay, we'll take two more, Tumani and Mark.
Hey Alex, well played. Obviously you're a player who likes to be taking the ball early, like on top of the baseline. I'm curious if you could explain in your words the importance of court positioning and what it takes to actually, obviously it's challenging, right, to be in that position, what it takes to take the ball early and not to move back far behind the baseline. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's been one of my attributes, right? Ultimately, my ball striking ability or the natural shape of shot that I have on both my ground strokes it's on the flatter side, right? So it means that the ball kind of skids through when it hits the court, and I've always felt like I've been able to use my speed to retrieve and play defensive, but one of the biggest things that has helped me take that next step is use my speed to take time away from my opponents, right? And that's where court positioning is super important. And if the ball is coming back to your opponent quicker and quicker, it's not really allowing him to think most of the time. So that's why I think it's so effective for me when the rallies kind of start going and we're going side to side and the ball's coming back quick and flat. It's not that easy to, keep being aggressive even, right? To the point that it's going to get to a point where I'm going to get the short ball and then I'm going to be able to dictate. It's much harder than if I'm a couple meters behind the baseline and then my ball is slow and loopy and my opponent has all the time in the world to generate and, hit winners past me, especially in the way the guys are hitting the ball nowadays, where if they've got time, they are crunching the ball. So I'm doing my best not to give my opponents time.
Okay, last one, Mark.
Alex, so much gets made, and it has in the past, about the stage of Grand Slams that you get to. Previously it was the fourth round, now it's quarterfinals. I'm curious about how you rate a successful Grand Slam these days. Is it pushing on and going further? Like I think back to last year's Wimbledon and how disappointed you were after that. But is it purely the stage you're getting to now? Do you have another way of gauging what a success is at these events?
Look, I think the way I'm feeling at the moment is that I've gotten to a stage where I'm not just another number in this draw, right? I'm playing to win it, and be one of those guys in contention. So ultimately, that's the goal, right? And I'm going to do my best, and it's not about being satisfied if I make the second week, if I make a quarterfinals, a semis. There's no real kind of stage. It's just going to be having that mindset of, okay, I'm going for this, and it's going to take one step at a time, but I'm not just making up the numbers now. It's about me taking that next step and believing in my abilities, and that's going to be the only thing that's going to allow me to ultimately take that next step.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
WWOS Sports is your home of the Australian Open. From highlights of the best players, every magic Aussie moment, and the best expert analysis.
We'll have every nail-biting, heartwarming, and edge-of-your-seat point covered. Subscribing to Wide World of Sports on YouTube is a must for any tennis fan.